Uh, Greetings, people. My lovelies, how are you? Hope you're all keeping well. Just thought I'd jump on here because we're kind of like through the first week of the slow releasing of lockdown. I just thought I'd jump on here with a few kind of things I've noted this week and just kind of get a few things off my chest and hopefully entertain you guys with me getting a bit wound up about things. Um, I've got to be honest. I'm still sticking to what I was doing before. I'm going out only when I really, really, really have to. Um, I know that some things have been made a bit easier. I'm still not quite comfortable with that. I'd like to see things improve a bit more along the lines of less people dying for a start. Um, than think I can go running around carefree. Um, my main concern about everything that's been unlocked so far is obviously, as you know, I live in a coastal town. And with the latest announcement that people have got unlimited travel, they can go wherever they like, how far away they like, providing it's just with people in their own house, or if they're meeting up with someone, just one person. Um, my worry is that the idiot element that will try and bend the rules and try and meet up with loads of different people, but then just say they met accidentally and they were only intending to meet one person, are going to go flooding to the coasts along the south coast and that kind of thing. Now, my worry with that is, in the grand scale of things, Sussex, especially West Sussex, where I am, um, it's got a very, very low rate of infection. It's got a very, very low death rate. It's got one of the lowest in the country. Uh, it's got a 98% compliance rate with people adhering to social distancing and only going out when they have to. So everyone's been sticking to the rules that lives in the area, and it proves that it works. However, and I'm not going to say it will happen, but there's obviously going to be a slight risk that people kind of thinking they can go wherever they like. Hey, let's head to Brighton, let's head to Littlehampton, let's head to Worthing. You know, it's just up the road, and we'll go there. Now, my worry with that is that where we have been so cautious, and they've been so cautious in Sussex, most people that kind of head out and don't take care when they go out and don't care about the current circumstances, one, are inherently fucking stupid, and two, they won't give a toss about where they're heading to. They will think, oh, actually, we're going somewhere where it's a very low rate, so we've got less chance of picking it up, so let's all head there, without thinking, however, we could be the people with it and we could be transferring it down there. So I do think the government were a bit quick off the mark to put unlimited travel, travel as far as you like. um, the proof of the pudding will be in about 2, 3, 4 weeks' time, when we see where the infection rates are then and how many new cases we've got and how many deaths we've got. Because obviously, if this was the wrong thing to do, these rates are going to go up and we're going to go back to square one again and go back to proper lockdown. So I am a bit concerned, I've got to be honest, and I know a few people that also live in coastal areas are quite concerned, where they've done their very, very best in these communities, in these areas, to do as they're told and keep the infection rate down, mainly because Sussex has got a very, very high population of elderly people. Um, so everyone was a lot more cautious to try and kind of cut down that infection rate. Now, that could all be thrown out, literally thrown out the window, if we get absolutely blitzed by day trippers and people meeting up in groups but saying that they only intended to meet one person, but they tell 30 people all to meet up and say, well, actually, I didn't know they were going to be there. Because that's what's happening at the moment, let's be honest. Everyone, most people are looking to kind of just do as they're told, but you have got the dickhead minority that will look to try and bend the rules. So where they've been told they can meet up with one person, will say, okay, I'll agree to meet up with you, and then they tell that person they're meeting up with, you agree to meet up with someone else and just invite a big chain of people, then you all turn up and go, well, I didn't know he was coming because I only meant to meet in him, and he was, and then someone says, well, I was only meant to meet in her. So there are ways they're going to bend these rules, because we have had people from day one that just seem to think that they're indestructible and they don't have to worry about infecting themselves, and they don't even have to worry about if they can infect other people. They just don't give a toss. I think that the issue we have at the moment is most semi-intelligent people have still got a lot of doubt at the moment, whereas the inherently stupid people have got the confidence and the bravery of a lion and think that they can just go out and nothing's ever going to happen to them. And it's those dickheads that could set us back to where we were at the end of March and back to complete lockdown again. Yes, would the government be to blame? Yeah, possibly. The fact I see is it's all very well journalists keep bringing up all this. Do you not think you acted too late? Do you not think you could have done this sooner? Do you not think you could have done that sooner? Yes, probably they could. But what is the point to keep asking that again and again and again? What's done is done, and it's happened. It's been tragic. And yes, they have made errors. They have made mistakes. But you don't have to keep telling them, oh, you've made mistakes. You've made mistakes. Yes, they know they've made mistakes. Surely a more positive thing is to go, right, what do we learn from those mistakes? And let's all be positive with this. Let's have the journalists and the press backing things rather than knocking everything. Because all I ever hear at the moment after the briefings is just criticise, criticise, criticise. No actual solutions. The other worrying thing at the moment is the world and his wife are just asking for money after money after money. You know, all these businesses, we need more money. This sector needs more money. That sector needs more money. The arts needs more money. You know, I even saw a story the other day that the adult entertainment industry and the sex industry in general are saying that they really should be helped to be bailed out by the government, because they're not able to continue doing what they're doing. And I thought to myself, my God, you know, we really have lost sense of reality here. You know, no one's taking a step back and going, there's fucking hundreds of people dying here, and all we're worried about is, are we going to make money? It is worrying from a point of view that billions is being given out day after day after day for this charity, for that charity, for this organisation, for that organisation. And you think, where does this money come from? It's not like the government have got the proverbial mattress in 10 Downing Street with money shoved underneath it for a rainy day. This money's coming from somewhere, and it's going to have to be put back when all this kind of dies down. And I think you've got to be very, very naive and very, very stupid to not think that the upshot of this will be, when things kind of get back to normal, it's going to be us, the general public, that are going to help put that money back in from where it's come from. And it's already showing now. Sadiq Khan brings back the congestion charge, increases it. He's also going to increase bus fares. Straight away, you know exactly what's going to happen. You're on the same wavelength as me when it comes to commuting by train. Every year they put it up by more than the rate of inflation. You know that the train fares are going to go up to a ridiculous rate. If not now, when it comes to the normal kind of price hike in January, it's going to go through the roof, because they've all got to get this money back from somewhere. So bus fares are going to go up, train fares are going to go up, the congestion charge is going up. Everywhere, everything's going to go up in price, because this money's got to be put back. But what will happen is, all these people saying we need more money for this, we need more money for that, and that money's being pumped left, right and centre to all these places, and not thinking of, once this all gets back to normal, that money's got to be put back. And then they'll all be the first to man going, why am I paying more income tax? Why am I paying more national insurance? The reason why is because everyone wanted bailing out, and everyone wanted money straight away, rather than kind of sit tight and go, okay, well, let's try and weather this out for a couple of months and then see if we need help. The minute the Chancellor announced financial help, straight away big companies are in there. Well, we can't afford to. Greedy bastards like Branson that are billionaires and could possibly bankroll their company for a couple of months and only not even put a dent in his personal fortune. No, let's sack all these people off. Let's try and get money from the taxpayer. And all these big companies that have done this, the owners and that have got enough wealth to kind of tide them over for a few months. No, I'm not using any money. I'd sooner take it off the taxpayer because I can still keep my own personal wealth. Well, unfortunately, what's going to happen is at the end of this, and I think anyone who doesn't see this coming is very, very naive. As I said, we're going to have to pay for this. Us, the likes of us, the working people. And it's going to mean a hike in income tax straight away. Everything's going to become dearer. To travel anywhere is going to become dearer. Food's going to become dearer. Everything's going to go up in price because the money's got to go back in the economy to make up for all this money that's been handed out left, right and centre. Now, where people still keep moaning, saying, we need money for this, we need money for that. Every single briefing, someone pipes up saying, well, what about more money for this? What about more money for that? Well, where do you think this fucking money's coming from? And where do you think it's going to come from in the future? And what's going to happen is, further down the line, these same journos and these same people that were jumping on more money for this, more money for that, and they're going to be jumping on going, but people are poor now, and you're taking more money off them, and you're taking more money off them. Why? The reason why is because people are saying we need more money, need more money, and we've had to pay it back. And it's going to be us that pay it back. I've never run my own business as such, to be self-employed. But one thing I don't get, if people want to put me right on this, I'll put my hands up if I completely misread this situation. But surely, if you're self-employed, all the while you've got money coming in and you've got jobs coming in, surely you put money aside so that if ever a time came when things went really, really quiet and you didn't have any work, you've still got money to live on. Sure, to me, that makes sense that you do that. You use your money to pay your way in normal, but when you do have particularly busy times, some money goes aside so that if you had a few lean months where things weren't so busy, you've still got money to tide you over. But now all of a sudden all these self-employed people say, I'm broke. Well, if you have money in the bank, you can't be broke. Surely you put money aside because you know that anyone who runs a business knows you're going to have times where you're turning work away because you're that busy. But you're also going to have times when it's dead quiet and you have to prepare for that. And I don't see how a lot of these people piping up going, I've literally got no money whatsoever. Well, no, you can't have nothing, not unless every time you earn any money, you spend it straight away and you don't save any for a rainy day or if something was to go wrong. I understand the government want to try and prop up business, but as the Chancellor quite rightly said, and it's common sense, he can't protect every single business. But every day someone pipes up on these briefings, well, I spoke to this man who does this. What are you going to do about him? Well, I'm pretty certain the Chancellor hasn't sat there and kind of gone, right, I'm going to come up with all these ways of helping business, but I've got to tailor it to each individual. If he was to sit and do that, nothing would ever get done. Because as soon as you think of one scenario, then another one comes up. So the best case scenario is you just do something that covers the mass majority of businesses. Yes, there are going to be some that fall through the cracks and aren't going to be covered by it, but that's just life. You can't fucking help everyone, and he can't do that. The government are there trying to do the best that they can. Now, I never thought in my lifetime I'd be kind of almost sticking up for a Conservative government, but I'm not sticking up for them. What I'm saying is that this is an unprecedented situation. No one in our lifetime has ever gone through anyone like this. And all these people that keep piping up and criticising about the way that it's been dealt with, what are you basing it on? What experience have you got of this that makes you know that this is the wrong thing to do? None whatsoever. No one has got any experience of this. When you get these clowns like Piers Morgan that seem to think he speaks for the people, well, he certainly don't fucking speak for me, because the guy is an absolute cretin. What is the point of inviting people onto your show with under the misconception that he's going to ask them difficult questions and get answers, when he doesn't. He gets them on there, asks them a question, and then before they have a chance to answer, he just shouts over the top of them and acts like a petulant child. Where does that help me? How have I found out an answer to a question I didn't already know? No, all I've heard is him sounding off for 10 minutes, shouting over the top of someone like a spoilt brat. That don't help any of us. None of these journalists are helping us at the moment. There's not one journalist I can think of, and there might be some that maybe my memory slipped on it, but there's not one journalist that when they're interviewing someone or when they're reporting are actually doing it based on the fact that they are there and are deemed as essential workers by the government to help provide us with information that we need. Piers Morgan doesn't provide me with anything I need because he doesn't ask anyone anything. All he wants to do is to serve his own purpose. This is irony, that this guy wants to pick up people about misleading people and wants to pick up the government and pick up other people about what they've said and what they've done in public. And the guy isn't exactly Omo White himself. Neither is his son. His son has made some absolutely dickhead comments in the press recently saying that he doesn't understand why people are moaning about being furloughed and losing 20% of their wages. What is 20%? It means nothing. Well, it means nothing to you, you spoiled little prick, because your dad's probably bankrolling you with his absorbent wages that he gets from GMB. So you would never know what it's like to struggle. You would never know what it's like to live hand to mouth because you're a spoiled little brat. And you saying, what does 20% matter? It matters a fucking lot. If you're only earning £500 a month and someone takes 20% of that off you, because that's a big amount. That's almost like a week's worth of provisions for your family gone. And you've got to find that from somewhere else. So how fucking dare he get on his high horse and start mocking people, saying, oh, it's only 20%. And then his dad should come out and fucking criticise him on his programme and say, I'm sorry, my son's a dickhead. He shouldn't have said that. But no, he forgets conveniently about what his son said. He forgets conveniently about things that he's done in the past where his actions have been absolutely appalling, and tries to be the hero of the people, asking the difficult questions. You may be asking the questions, but you don't let the fucking people give an answer. Is it any wonder that politicians and such like don't want to go on his show? It's not because they're scared of him. It's because what is the point? It's a complete and utter fruitless thing to do. What is the point of going on his show? He asks you a question, you go to give him an answer, and he just shouts over the top of you. What is the point? The other issue you get is that on the other channel, you've got the people that do breakfast TV on BBC are a bit too much the other way. They're too much nicely, softly, and they don't ask questions that are difficult. They let the people answer, but the questions they ask, we already know the answers to. I tend to find most of these briefings, the questions that get asked afterwards, we already know the answer. I can straight away, a lot of these times when these journos go, oh, I'd just like to say, I can answer it for them. I can say, well, actually, the other day, he answered that or she answered that. So if I can remember it and I can give them an answer, what is the point of asking politicians these questions when we've already had the answer? Again, it's just to serve their own ego. I'm gonna stop talking about this because I do get really wound up with this whole people thinking that they're serving the public and they're not. Thank goodness, and I know people are going to disagree with me on this, thank goodness tonight we've got In for a Penny and we've got Britain's Got Talent, because the other option is 6 hours of fucking Eurovision shit on BBC One. 6 o'clock in the evening it starts and goes on till about 11, 12 o'clock at night. Do we really need that fucking longer programme about something that's a complete and utter fucking waste of time? Who cares whether you win it or not? It's not a sensible competition. Most of the people that win it, most of the songs that win it are absolute shit. It's got nothing to do whether the song's good. It's just who they fancy giving it to that particular year. What country hasn't hosted it? Who can we do a favour? But also, it's also about putting us in our place and always making sure that we finish bottom to kind of down tread us and say, well, how dare you do what you're doing? But for people to take this seriously, I mean, not being funny, you can't take this competition seriously. It's not a serious competition. It's not even a competition. It's just, it must make money for someone somewhere. But as a spectacle to watch, you're just watching it from a mocking point of view. You just want to sit there and take the piss. Now, okay, it might be entertaining for an hour, but 3 hours of just shit song after shit song after shit song, I fail to see the entertainment value in it after an hour, because I just think, oh, here comes another load of crap. Here comes another load of crap. But so thank goodness, I know a lot of people don't like Britain's Got Talent, but I think if you've got your option of watching 6 hours of Eurovision or watch an hour of that, I think you're best doing that, or look for a completely different TV channel, or jump on Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever Sky Movies, whatever, because the option of 6 hours of fucking back-to-back Eurovision, and to make it worse, if it isn't bad enough that this stuff, we have to listen to this shit for 6 hours, we've got one of the biggest fucking annoying twats on the planet, Rylan, hosting a 2-hour show about it. So it's not bad enough we've got to watch irritating acts, we've also got to watch an irritating, talentless host. So 2 perfectly good reasons for me to make sure I stay away from BBC One tonight. And just finishing up on BBC One, walked in, listened to the radio, and saying, oh, some good news for us all in these dark times of being in lockdown and blah blah blah. I thought, oh, great times. What good times was it? Do you know what the fucking announcement was? The EastEnders have found a way that they can start filming again. Since when is that a fucking plus point? When is that a good thing? At the moment, we just want things that cheer us up and get us through this. But do I seriously want a program that's the most depressing program on TV back again? Do you think when they come back and they start filming, they'll think to themselves, do you know what, with everything that's going on, let's have some light-hearted storylines, let's have some happy storylines. No, it's still going to be murder, kill, dying, murder, kill. The same, and then literally on the back of that, then Coronation Street pipe up. Oh, we're coming back as well. Oh, brilliant. What we really need now is EastEnders with death, murder. And then if we want to turn over, we can put ITV on and watch Coronation Street with death, murder, kill. I don't want to keep watching programmes about people dying that are make-believe. I don't want to watch programmes about people wanting to kill someone or anything depressing at the moment. I want to be entertained. I want to have a laugh. Not even have a laugh. I just want something that isn't just misery for misery's sake. So I, for one, wasn't over the moon like this radio report gave, that everyone's going to be over the moon because EastEnders and Corrie are going to be filming again. I kind of thought, oh shit, I was hoping they were going to run out of episodes and we wouldn't have to watch this fucking rubbish anymore. But unfortunately we do. So those of you that are like me and aren't really big fans of soap operas, it's going to come back, and they're probably going to be more depressing and more morose than ever, because that's exactly what we don't need. So that's what they're going to do. Other than that, there's a lot of positive stuff going on around at the moment still. People doing things for charity, people doing things out of the kindness of their heart, people recognising people and thanking people and that. And I just hope that this new attitude that people have got now of being caring and looking out for people doesn't disappear when the virus disappears, and we keep it, because it will be great. Unfortunately, the dickhead element that have caused the problem during this aren't going to go away. But hopefully the whole coming together and being nice to everyone will stay. And we can only keep our fingers crossed that if any positives are going to come out of all this that's been going on, is that people are going to keep looking out for the elderly and looking out for their neighbours and looking out for people that might be struggling mentally or physically. Because that has been a major plus point. It's kind of heartwarming when the news do actually decide to put something positive on rather than doom and gloom. My suggestion would be now have a TV channel that's just dedicated to 24-hour coronavirus depressing news. So if you want to watch it and you want to keep hearing about the same things again and again and again and depression, you can go to one channel and knock yourself out, watch it all day, and just put it all on one channel. Don't keep interrupting the normal channels. You know, the briefing comes on at 5, that finishes at 6. Then they spend an hour on the news talking about what you've just watched and talking about it all over again. Then there's a break for an hour. Then at 8 o'clock, oh, we've got a special programme on talking about let's follow a camera around in the hospital watching people die. I don't want that. I just want to watch the briefing at 5 o'clock, find out exactly what's going on, get the facts and figures, and I don't want to watch it for the rest of the day. I don't want to know about it anymore. I just want to sit and chill out in front of the TV. But no, we're not getting that. We're getting all these like special, you know, everyone's coming up with an excuse to film an hour long special about something, you know. Fucking what's his name from EastEnders, bloody Ross Kemp has popped up with something now, you know. It didn't take him long to pipe up and want to and you know follow people around a hospital and stuff like that. I don't want to watch that. Okay then, people. Well, I'm going to go now. Goes without saying. I know I say it. It's probably boring. But everyone, please stay healthy, stay safe. We will get through this, and even when we get through this, I'll have something else that I can moan about rather than this, because at the moment, all that's going on is this at the moment, and all that is to moan about. Other than football is back today in Germany, but those of us that do like to kind of watch a game, we can kind of watch how the Germans are doing it and kind of get it on and get behind the German team for a couple of weeks until we know what's going on with the football in this country. So that might lift people's spirits a little bit, and possibly someone could burn down the set of EastEnders and Corrie, and that'll lift the spirits of a lot of people that they can't film that for a good few months. Fingers crossed. Anyway, take care, stay safe, peace out my lovelies.